Good Thursday evening to everybody here watching on Bell 5 TV1. It is the 2017 AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships here on Bell 5 TV1 alongside Anthony Purcell. My name is Dan Hobson. Glad you could join us. Anthony, this should be a dandy of a matchup. We got teams that are undefeated. Of course, Caitlin Jones 1-0 after defeating Stephanie Carson 9-1 earlier today. And then Kaylee Notting 2-0, 10-4 win over Calissa Daly, and this afternoon defeating Callie Moore 11-9. So one of these teams are going to get their first loss. Let's get your thoughts on this one just before we have the first throws underway.
Well, what I think actually is that you got two teams playing quite well. They've definitely got the momentum going. They just obviously want to get control of the ice and get things going. But you've got a very experienced team in the Caitlin Jones rink. So obviously they would be the favorite, but you play this sport on the ice, and definitely Notting, I've seen her play, and she can definitely come up with some good games. So she puts a good game in tonight. They definitely could give the Jones team some trouble tonight. So we'll see what happens, and look forward to a great game. And
an excellent draw there to the button for Notting. Gets her the hammer here. She has the yellow stones here in number one. Jones, of course, will have the blue stones. And you were saying the favorites, of course, defending champions, but they do have some changes. Of course, Lindsay Burgess new to the team, as well as Caitlin Jones, but Kristen Clark and Carly Burgess back together again. And number one in the Nova Scotia Junior Curling rankings. They are against a team, of course, from the Bridgewater Curling Club, and they have really done excellent in terms of offense. 21 points in 2 games so far, and that's the task that Jones has got to do to maybe limit her from getting some scoring here in this one.
Absolutely. Looks like the Notting team has come out strong. They've been to score that many points. Obviously, they've had some rocks in play, some guards, in creating offense. So we'll see what happens so far. So far, what we see is a pretty open end so far, but we'll see what happens.
A flash there, so blue stone belonging to Jones, and it could be game on here for Jones here to force Notting here to 1, or even try to steal here and in number 1. So far, steals have been pretty well one of the stories going on here in the championships. Lots of points being scored just by stealing. It's been one of the storylines. So the aggressive play by the team so far in the championships. Of course, you on the men's side coaching, of course, your team, the Weagle team, out of the curling club there, the Chester Curling Club. So you know pretty well it's been pretty aggressive play, and it's continued on in the women's side as well.
Yes, indeed. So the ice is very good as far as getting your draws and stuff, because you can certainly carry the rocks a long way. It's very fast ice, and if you throw it to the sweepers, you can get that curl. So it's all conducive into the weight control.
And of course, we've got update Gage that will be providing updates throughout the evening. On sheet B, Isabel Ladisor will be taking on Callie Moore, and Julie Carson will be taking on Calissa Daly, and that will be on sheet E. So if we get scores, we'll pass them along to you throughout the broadcast, because we know there's some fans there that are probably just tuning in trying to see some of the teams. Of course, this is the only one that we have got. Our main feature here tonight, of course, is the Jones and Notting game. Both teams, as we mentioned earlier, undefeated, but we will keep everybody up to date on what's going on the other sheets. And you said the ice conditions perfect. We're in a little bit of a cold snap here in Nova Scotia. Well, who are we kidding? It's pretty well country-wide. Pretty well from anywhere from Newfoundland pretty well to out west, and hasn't really affected the ice conditions, as you mentioned.
No, it hasn't, and like I say, it's been pretty quick.
Yeah, they actually, one of my broadcast colleagues, John Seidman, actually took a stopwatch to one of the games here today. Said that it was running hog line about 16 seconds. So you see, Jones has a little pressure here, line 2.
No, I think she actually wanted that one to be a guard, so that would have not have set this double up. But anyway, it is 2 in the rings and putting a little pressure on Notting so far.
As we see the Notting stone come down, let's meet the Notting team. Of course, their lead is Carrie Wellman. This is the second, Alexis Chason. The third, Caitlin Notting, and Kaylee Notting, coached by Scott Notting. So I used this line last night in one of the broadcasts. I said that it's a law firm of Notting, Chason, and Wellman.
Aha.
We could pretty well almost say like a little bit of Burgess, Clark, Jones, and Atherton. So a lot of names that are the last years. Same last names. Can be good, could also be bad too.
So they have the rock into the 4 foot. It's in good position here. So the ideal situation is to put a tight guard here. It looks like they're got it pretty much down now. It's just feeling out the weight process, and they got her down now. So it's good placement of rocks here. Top 12, tight guard. That's a good shot.
So we'll see what is in store here for Notting, see what she does here on the next shot. Of course, you being a coach, you know very well, and of course probably a player as well. So you look at the situation. What would you do here if you're a team Notting here in the first end? They're looking at 2 already Jonestones in the house.
Well, you got to try to make this double is what you got to do, because essentially it's always better to take a single than it is a give up a steal. So ideally it's actually important to hold your shooter. So maybe they should bring the weight down just a bit, just in case you don't make the double, and then maybe they'll hit the one that flies over to the other side of the ring, and then the one that's on the 4 foot would be exposed. But still feeling out the ice, so we'll see how this goes along.
Well, they'll pretty well follow up, of course, as we take a look at the Jones rink here out of the Halifax Curling Club. We've seen Lindsay Burgess do throwing. Here's Carly Burgess the second, Kristen Clark is the third, and Caitlin Jones skipped and coached here by Andrew Atherton out of the Halifax Curling Club. So we've met the teams, and
I've known Andrew for a long time. I actually played with him, I'm going to say maybe 8, 9 years ago, and Andrew knows the game for sure, and he brings a lot as far as coaching to these young girls, and obviously with the Mary Fay team that was here a couple of years ago, they won the world title. So Andrew is definitely a good asset for a coach for these girls for sure.
Now we're to the third. This is Caitlin Notting out of the Bridgewater Curling Club. Has up the weight here. Of course, the blue one went probably a little bit deeper, so double is there. And they'll see if they can get over. They probably should have got on that rock a little bit quicker to get it towards the outside, but they hesitated, and it will stick around and bite there, the 12-foot area.
Yeah, you got to stay on those rocks, because you can't look away. You got to make sure that you get those rocks out of the way, because they could have been sitting one, and actually the blank now could have been in play, but now it looks like Jones has a great opportunity to sit 2 and essentially set up a force situation. So
Jones third, Kristen Clark here. And they're pretty well, looks like it may be a little bit light. They were pretty well on it as soon as it came out of her hand there, Anthony. And they did well just to hold the line, get a piece of the rock, and now the blue will push towards the back. So a couple of their biters in the back 12.
And that's the thing. What I'm noticing so far in this game is the fact that, much like my boys team that I coach, on straight ice like this, you don't need to throw the big weight. You can hold the line very, very well. She didn't, make full contact with that rock. She probably hit about half that rock, but because she didn't throw a lot of weight, her shooter didn't fly out of the house. So now she's sitting 2. She's in a real good spot for the force. And the key is you got to try not to throw as much weight, so that when you don't make full contact with the rock, that you at least hold your shooter.
They'll get the roll, and they'll go probably maybe about half a rock, missing that blue one towards the back. And as you said, the force on here in end number 1.
So Caitlin, I would imagine she'll want to put this probably top button, top 4, get a feel for the draw weight, and ideally if you ever were able to get a flash, as they call a missed shot, you get to guard a rock that's right near the button, which would be very hard to account. So, but I think more than anything, it'd be a great opportunity for Caitlin to essentially find her draw weight early in the game.
So we're into skip rocks here in end 1. Jones trying to force Notting here to take 1. And the numbers would indicate that she's okay to and on par to get what she wants here, and that's the force here in number 1. Lightweight being thrown here. Lindsay and Carly here, the front end, and Clark holding the broom here for Jones. Giving it the extra cleating that it needs and the scrub to get it to the 4 to lie to once again.
And that's a perfect shot. That's exactly what she wanted. She gets a chance to feel the draw weight, and knowing that at some point, probably in the next couple ends, she'll probably have to make a draw around a center guard. So it's always good to get that feel for the draw weight early in the game.
So here's the first throw, and all of a sudden, Kaylee Notting here out of the Bridgewater Curling Club, not really able to, ease into this one as the Jones force and put some pressure on. A couple of misses there by Notting's team here in the first end has really set this up, and maybe a little bit of some mental errors as well. So we talked about that rock that they did not get onto quickly and was a biter in the 12. So
I believe that's the rock that's still there. So yeah,
so
absolutely.
it's a tough situation she's already in here, and in number 1 with the hammer, the first of 2 on the way for her.
So she'll probably try to get this double.
Tried, but it just not quite the angle there to get at it. So now it looks like they'll just exchange hits here in the early going.
So if Jones hits and sticks here, obviously it just sets up the 4 situation. And Jones would be quite happy with that. She'll get her hammer back. Lots of game left, 9 ends. So it's always good to get that hammer back and try to get a crooked number on the board.
Last one here for Jones here without hammering in number 1. Looks like maybe a little heavy as they have not laid a brush to it here. Both Lindsay and Carly. Just onlookers.
I think she might be rolling out.
This could be a little bit of the break. All of a sudden they had a chance here for the force. But, of course, this is still not a gimme either with it being at the back 12 like that.
The good thing for Notting, though, when you look at it, it's back 12. She's got not a lot of room in the rings to nose it. So if she rolls, a foot either direction, she's good to go. She'll get the blank.
So she was looking at maybe taking a single, but now has a chance here to blank and carry the hammer into end number 2. Kaylee Notting with the final rock here in end number 1. Wellman and Chase on it already, heads down, trying to hold the line here for the shot. And they will get the rock, and shooter goes as well. So a blank here in end number 1. Notting will continue to have hammer here in end number 2. So
I'm pretty sure that Notting would be very happy with that end. It was pretty simple end, very open, low risk. I think you might see Jones just she's not afraid to put rocks in play from what I've seen in some of her games. So you might see her put up a center guard on this one.
Well, of course, as we mentioned off the top, 21 points in 2 games. So, Notting's not afraid to put a lot of rocks in play. So we could have ourselves some ugly houses and a whole whack of messes here before the night's done there, Anthony.
But it makes it more interesting and fun for us to watch. So
very much. So here we are into end number 2. There's still no score between Jones and Notting here on Bell 5 TV1's coverage of the 2017 AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships. Draw 3, day number 2. Of course, while I have you here, I just want to congratulate you and your team on having a successful season, winning a lot of cash wheels, 3 to be exact, and number 1 rankings in the Nova Scotia Junior Curling standings. So congratulations to you on your hard work and your team as well.
Yeah, that's it doesn't come by accident. We worked very, very hard this year. I'm lucky and fortunate to work with four young men that have the same goals and are committed to their craft. And we had a great year. We did win the 3 spiels, and actually in the only men's spiel that we went into, which had some of the bigger names in Nova Scotia. and some competition from Ontario, we actually finished in the final of that one. So it's been an amazing year actually, and they're still very young. My son has 5 years left in juniors. My two of the other guys on the team still have 4 years left. So there's a lot to build on. But the key thing is right now there's an amazing team out there at Matthew Manuel, and when it comes to provincial play, they step it up, and we've got a lot of respect for their team. They're a very talented team, and they're world class. So they'll be very tough to take down.
So here's the little biter there in the 12-foot area here for the Jones foursome. There seem to be a lot of rocks there in the back 12 in this one so far. And they'll remove the blue stone, and the shooter will go out as well. So it's a bit of a conservative start, but when you know that the other team can put some points up, and you know that the Jones team can as well, you kind of maybe don't want to play into their game with the more rocks in play. But as you know, Anthony mentioned, it was definitely entertaining. More rocks in play, make it so that it's lots of fun to watch back home and online, or even in the here at the Lakeshore Curling Club. You know, pretty well sometimes standing room only. Not too bad a crowd here tonight, and lots there at ice level. So
updating the other games going on right now. I understand actually that the website actually is down right now for the update. So we'll try to help out as much as we can. So we have on sheet B, we have Callie Moore's team playing, and they are playing Isabelle Ladouceur. Right now it is Callie Moore up 2-0 after one end. On our feature game, we had the blank in our game on sheet D. Yeah, that's a vacant sheet. And then on sheet E, once we figure out which color,
Julie Carson in blue has a 1-0 lead over Calissa Daly there.
So there you have it, folks. At least we have an update. It's one end on that has passed for each game, and we'll try to keep them updated as best we can.
Well, good update. You must be well practiced at this.
Well, I'll probably hear from people, why didn't you say the other scores? So,
oh, it's just
courtesy thing.
Yeah, well, I try to keep everybody up to date, but sometimes all of a sudden I get so involved in the main game of the week that I forget and do that, and my memory is bad. I'll be the first to admit it. Why do you think I have all this paper all over the place?
Too much stuff to handle, I guess.
Yeah. But pen, of course, make up for the short memory, and so we'll get back to this one here on sheet C. Of course, the final draw here of the day number 2. And a couple of teams that are, of course, undefeated here so far here at the championships.
So Alexis Seychon, she's coming out. She's going to try to make this shot here, try to sit 2. Now the ice conditions actually, they are running quite straight, and if you flare them out at all, they're very hard to hold the shooters, but that was very close. That was actually a pretty good shot. They're still sitting 1, and I'm sure that Team Jones will come down here and try to do something similar, try to freeze something down onto the to the shot rock.
Of course, this team, of course, we talked off the top of the defending champions event. Of course, they had different teammates. Emily Lloyd and Janique LeBlanc no longer on the team. And, of course, Lindsay Burgess and Caitlin Jones new. But Clark, of course, and Burgess have played together for quite a while. And, of course, were part of the 2016 national team.
I've seen this Jones team a lot this year. They go in a lot of the same spiels. They are on the female side, we're on the male side of the draws, but we get to see them quite a bit, and they do practice a lot over at Chester Curling Club, where our host club is, and you can really see that they've gelled a lot this year. I think you're going to see some good stuff with them if they're fortunate enough to win this event. There's 5 other teams to say something about that, but very strong team, and certainly there's 5 teams here trying to take them down. But like you said, they had a very good year and first in the standings for the juniors.
Yep, so this one is coming to a stop. Will it bump that yellow one, give it the lightest touches, and go to the back 8 to sit 2? Put your little thinking hat on. Would you definitely be thinking about possibly the double there? Is the shot there to make the double?
It's hard to tell from where we're sitting here. I need to kind of see where that rock is out front. It's definitely there. You could play it. I know that it's a little nerve-wracking seeing 2 rocks there, and you don't have hammer. So I would imagine that would be the call right now.
Moving a light wrong here in this second end. Notting having the hammer here. Line 2. Not much really laid on here by brushing here by both the Burgess.
It almost looks like she's playing like a little soft wave hit and flop on top of the other rock, which is a very good call if you're able to stick your shooter in a good position. But
just rolls maybe a little bit too far to be, so it's second shot right now.
So they'll want to hit that and roll probably towards the middle again and sit there 2. That's a good call as well. Certainly come around that center guard.
So many options that they can, decide to choose. It's basically more like of a comfort zone of what you feel like you can do, knowing your capabilities and stuff.
Well, certainly if you feel you got your draw weight, this is definitely the right call.
Caitlin Notting from the Bridgewater Curling Club as we're into third rocks here in the second. Did some slight cleaning. Looks like could be heavy, yes. Clark ready to pounce on it. Try to drag it towards the back. And they are heavy. And it will just barely stick on to the back 12.
It's kind of important that did stick. It's getting later in the end, and it could be a counter later in the end, so you never know. So Caitlin will go after shot rock. Try to sit 2. Again, it's looking like someone's going to score here, so setting up a 4 situation would be a pretty good situation for Caitlin.
Of course, you had a chance, of course, with your team yesterday during like the practice session. Yesterday afternoon, had a chance to test things out. Has things changed in terms of ice conditions from the practice to the actual, play and the draws when they started taking off?
In my opinion, I think everything has been pretty much the same. There hasn't been a lot of surprise that the ice has stayed quick. It's actually been pretty good ice as far as the speed is held its own. There's a lot of draws, and you do a lot of brushing on this fast ice, and you really can't complain to, that the speed hasn't held up and that sort of thing. So
nice
really,
work.
the practice did help, I think, a lot of the teams for sure.
Yeah, nice work there by Notting to get on that one and brush that one out. Using some, of course, in the first end, they were a little bit late to getting on to one of the rocks, and it stuck around, but this time they were on it just as soon and swept it out towards the back and out of the rings there.
So when I mentioned before that it was important for that back yellow one that it didn't go out of play, it's actually we have a chance for Notting team to sit 2. So if they could get this 2 set up, I think they'd be very good. They'd be very happy with that.
And as you can see, a southpaw curler is the Kaylee Notting here. As we're into skip rocks here in the second.
It's very important to hold your shooters on these type of shots, and It's a little bit more weight than what we would throw. We've been throwing a little bit maybe more than board. That seems to be more like between the control and regular weight. And just where the everything is so straight, they just, if you tend to overthrow them, they just hang. And these rocks actually are different than your traditional club rocks because the striking bands are so active. So if you don't hit it square, you'll definitely get more bounce off if you don't hit it square. So you're more susceptible with bigger weights to roll out.
Going to make a play on the last rock just being thrown here is the Caitlin Jones team.
So she'll be looking for a hit and roll here. Try to hit and roll behind the center guard. And I would imagine she'll be throwing like a nice soft weight here. Something that's a little manageable with the sweepers. Try to get a little bit of curl in play.
So far the Burgesses have now start to get on it. As it starts to take off, the curl will start right around the hog line there. And
so that was a great audible. So what happened there is the rock did hang a little bit, and what they decided to do was to go for the double instead of the hit and roll. So really good team management on that one.
And now they will have to, of course, now they'll go and look at that one that's in the back 12. There's one that's out and there's a biter. So go and concentrate this one. So once again, the another blank is a possibility. As you see that blue one here towards the back, you see some white ice. From that shot, looks like it's out, and we'll say that it's out, and I will bet dollars to donuts that it is out.
Well, I would bet that actually it's surprising because actually when the camera angle looks down on it, it actually deflects to the kind of like the inner part, and you could sometimes you'd be surprised some of these ones that do look out are actually in. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a camera trick.
Yeah, but she'll get the roll, and it
won't matter. We'll never know.
Yeah, it'll make it pointless as they'll get the single point here in number one. That's usually how that goes for me, you know. So the Notting forced to take one here, and in number two leads 1-0 after 2 ends of play. We'll take a look and see if there's any updates on the other games going on. So far, still nothing to report. Anything since our last update, of course. On sheet B, Isabel Ladouceur versus Callymore. And it's more 2-0 over Ladouceur right now. And over on sheet E, it is still Carson 1-0 over Calissa Daly. So if we get any updates, we'll be happy to pass them along as we're here in the third end here. 1-0 Notting over Jones. And you sort of maybe see that maybe things may intensify. We'll just have to wait and see. But so far, of course, we expect that there's going to be a change here, that all of a sudden the intensity is going to get up. The more and more we get onto this one as it goes on, teams will start to get more rocks in play. A bit of a conservative start, but, you know, based upon the way that Notting's been playing, not really much a surprise.
No. And, you know, it's this doesn't surprise me, this call here. I think she was looking for the guard, and they seems to be, you know, that seems to be their strategy this week is to put some aggression in play. Now, I know that Caitlin actually, her strategy is she's a very aggressive skip, and she'll definitely look forward to putting a corner guard on and put that hammer to action right away.
As we take a look at Lindsay Burgess, the 18-year-old who curls at the Halifax Curling Club, been doing this for 10 years. The first-year Bachelor of Engineering student at Dalhousie University, represented Nova Scotia at the Under-18 Atlantics in 2014. And when she's not on the ice, Anthony, she is either running track or playing soccer. And, of course, this is a funny fact. If you're ever going to be needing to be on time, she's not your lady. She says if anyone on the team is late, it's Lindsay. And it's the first year curling with cousin Carly. Just a little fun fact. And, of course, we'll be playing for Team Jones, also representing Dalhousie at the Atlantic University sport level.
So I've been around the sport probably 25 years or more, just myself, and I know of the Burgess family quite well, and like I say, they're very accomplished athletes, and it doesn't surprise me at all that Lindsay would be into all the track stuff and that kind of thing. It seems to be their fit. So again, this is a very aggressive call, and I'm not surprised. That's the way Caitlin tends to play. She's ignoring the one that's on the button area, even though it's on the button. She's saying, "Okay, I'm going to go after the play here, and you use my hammer here and try to sink one right around that corner, and we'll deal with that one on the button a little later in the end." So this is the way to certainly create some offense. Looks like she's going to tick this and get a little wick, but so now she essentially has 2 corner guards.
See what Team Notting will select here and decide to do here on this throw. Line 2 as we take a look at Alexis Chase on.
I actually played with Alexis at some club level when she was kind of, just a fun thing. My son and Alexis and my niece, we had a team, and it was great to see. She really has come a long way in the last couple of years, and for her to to be in here and play as well as she has, it's great to see. And again, all this is no fluke. They all put in their time and do their practice, and they're getting the results. Alexis was actually on the U18 team last year with Team Callie Moore, and they had a 4th place finish, so she can definitely play the game.
In the hack right now, Carly Burgess, 19 years of age, curling since she was 6 years of age. As you mentioned, you know the Burgess family very well. From Toronto, Nova Scotia, attends Dalhousie University, where she is a Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, and plays out of the Halifax Curling Club, and of course has attended the Under-21 Provincial Championships 7 straight years, a 4-time provincial champion. So quite a resume for sure.
It's funny when they actually come on board, I'd say, like the last 4 years, or as soon as they got into the national level, they were immediately competitive. It was, I believe they were, I'm trying to remember now, they were like 15 and 16-year-old kids, and finishing, I believe they finished, maybe it was 3rd, but it was absolutely crazy. I remember that year it was in Liverpool, and they had the hometown crowds, working with them and really cheering them on, and I think they kind of got energized from it. But right from the get-go, as soon as they got into nationals, they really have always succeeded in it. So,
well, this is what we were kind of really expecting with both of these teams. Now starting to see some rocks in play. 3 yellow-handed ones belong to Notting and 1 to Jones right now. Jones has the hammer here in the 3rd. 1, 2, 3 belonging to Notting. But with those rocks so close together, maybe we'll see Carly here try to do a little separation and try to split things up, and also try to get rid of some shrapnel if she can.
Yep, so there'll be some fire come off this one. This won't be light. She's going to try to get some action.
Get ready for the boom, boys and girls, and removes the yellows towards the back.
That's a really good shot.
That's the danger of getting those so close together, leaving, of course, the double possibility, and has spilled the yellows out. Second shot now. Here's Jones for the meantime.
So far, a very competitive game. I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing with the Notting team so far. I haven't seen them play a lot this year, so but obviously they are throwing the rock quite well.
Big weight being shown here by Caitlin Notting here. Once again, Wellman and Chase on slight cleaning.
It's a real good shot there.
And split the yellows, and looking at that, she's first and second shot. As you said, good shot.
Would have been a little bit better if they were able to kind of sweep that and just kind of corner freeze it just a little more onto that blue. So that double wouldn't be there, but still that wasn't an easy shot, and very good, pretty good result.
The 20-year-old who's been curling for 8 years, two-time provincial under-21 champion, 2017. Of course, the 2016, we mentioned earlier, Canadian and World Junior champion and a two-time CIS competitor, a silver medalist last year at the AUS Curling Championships in Truro, is a Dalhousie University student enrolled into a Bachelor of Commerce, and this is her final year doing in the juniors, moving on to women's play next season.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. I always thought that Kristen Clark was around in the juniors for longer than 8 years, and that just goes to tell you just how much natural ability she has. I'm sure outside the curling world she must be doing other athletic stuff, because to incorporate all the balance and follow through and all that kind of thing, she must be playing other sports. That's pretty incredible to be as successful as she has, given a limited time, because a lot of kids these days, they'll start out in juniors like in 7, 8 years old. At least that's when my son started. And so I mean, to do what she's done with only 8 years experience is pretty amazing.
Get a little bit of a roll. Shot stone still belonging to Jones here. Has the hammer here in N3.
So this is a really good call by Caitlin. She's ignoring the rocks that are over to the left, because she knows that if she goes around that corner and she puts on a good rock, she's going to count those two with the rock being covered behind the guard. So this is an aggressive call, but again, this is what I expect out of Caitlin. She's a very aggressive skip, and when she feels that her teammates can make a shot and they get a good handle of the rock, she's not afraid to go after some aggression.
Last time that, of course, some of maybe the TV1 cameras and some of our fans were with us for curling was the championships in Truro back in February, and Clark, of course, was skipping for Dal. Was really under the weather. Like there was like a really bad cold going around, and it was kind of affecting her. And talk about like the illnesses at the wrong time.
Well, it's terrible. I remember one of the worst examples of that was Mike Harris. He was, I can't even remember how long ago, but it's quite a while ago. He went to the Olympics for Canada, and I remember in the gold medal game he actually played with the flu, and he ended up with a silver medal. But to play under those conditions, it couldn't have been very good.
So we're into skip rocks here, and in number 3, Kaylee Notting. Of course, after this we'll go and check what's going on the other sheets. Here, draw number 3, day number 2 here at the AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Curling Championships.
This Notting team, they're definitely playing well. They're making all their hits and sticks, and they are forcing play. That last draw by Kristen was a little bit heavy, so allowed this opportunity for the Notting team to set 3.
As we take a look at the 19-year-old skip, Caitlin Jones, been doing this for 12 years. 5th place at the Canadian Junior Nationals in 2017. Second team All-Star skip at the Junior Nationals 2017. Bronze medal at the Canada Winter Games 2015. I'm going to need to take a breath here to read all of her accomplishments. 4th place at the Optimist Under-18 Curling Championships 2014. Curls out of the Halifax Curling Club. Attends Dalhousie University Bachelor of Arts program. And she says that her fun fact, Nova Scotia is the 5th province she has lived in. You talk about the song, I've been everywhere.
This looks like a really good shot.
Bumps the yellow and gets a slight roll.
I'm not sure she got under far enough. Still, from the hack, I bet you that would be probably 3/4 open, but that's a really good shot, and the Notting team are going to have to deal with that rock. And the main thing here is making sure that rock goes, and then I'm not sure if Caitlin would go after the double to try to score 2. I don't think so. I think she'll just be forced to draw the 8-foot for her single point.
The last one here for Kaylee Notting here in number 3 without the hammer. Wellman, chase on. Chase on, digging in, head down. Keeping the line, and they'll hit the blue stone, and they'll push one of the yellows just to be a biter there in the 12-foot area.
There's nothing wrong with that shot. That was a really quite a good shot there, and the main thing was that she wanted to get that shot, deal with that shot rock.
This is what the skips always like to do, is like to try to get as many points as he can.
So she's going to take on the double. She's going to try to play this double. It just depends, I guess, how you feel. I mean, those rocks aren't that far apart. It's not an easy shot, but if she feels comfortable with it, there is a shot for 2.
Well, sometimes you got to take a chance to give yourself a chance, and that's what Jones is looking at here. Try to double, get rid of some yellow shrapnel, and stick around and get 2 here on her last rock here in number 3. Throwing the up weight here. The Burgesses hesitated, and now they're onto it. Carly, Lindsay, we're off for a bit, so you know when they start doing that it's close. There's the jam onto it.
Stuffed it.
And stuffed it. As you mentioned, steal 1. So 2-0 for Kaylee Notting here as we head to end number 4. As I promised everybody, updating the scores. As we go to sheet B, Isabel Ladisor has gotten on the board. She got 2 there in the 3rd inning, so that one is tied. Ladisor and Moore, 2 at 2 as they are in end number 4. And we'll head over to sheet E. Calissa Daly and Julie Carson. Of course, Carson out of the Windsor Curling Club came in 3rd ranked here, taking on Daly, who's 4th ranked. And right now it is the Carson team 2-0 as they play in the 3rd. But of course, they are really sort of behind with the rest of the other sheet. But looking across over at their game, they've got they got a whole hunk of rocks there in the house. So
yeah, there's definitely some stuff going on over there.
Yeah, business is picking up there. So we'll say that it is 2-0 right now there on sheet E. Remind everybody the 2018 Scotties begins Tuesday, January 9th from the Dartmouth Curling Club. Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Catch all the action here on Bell 5 TV1. We'll be live streaming pretty well the opening throw to the closing ceremonies. And it starts 9 a.m. Tuesday, January 9th. Outstanding field once again. Anthony, of course, Kristen McDermott, Julie McAvoy, Teresa Breen, Jill Brothers, Colleen Jones, Marianne Arsenault, Colleen Pakeney, and, of course, Isabel Ladisor. Not only playing juniors, but also going to be in that Scotties. So, great accomplishment for them.
For sure. And, it's curling is it's a funny sport. You can go in there and you play well that weekend, and you can show everybody what you're made of and go ahead and qualify for an event like that. And that's something that they can always take with them for the rest of their curling career. And even when they're old and gray, they can say, hey, we were the first team, junior team to ever to qualify for a Scotty. So that's a big accomplishment.
Nose hit to lie 2 now here for Notting, up by 2. But without last rock here at end number 4 with the yellow handled stones, Jones has the hammer. With the blue stones, as we concentrate on this one. So far, I'd have to say the first 3 innings kind of a little bit of surprising here that teams are combined for 2 points already. When we know that they can really, put pedal to the metal and put a lot of rocks in play.
Well, what you're going to see is Caitlin's trying to do that for sure. She's going to put up a corner guard here, and she's trying to create offense. some teams, they might see that there's 2 rocks in play, but at this point it's early in the game, and plus she's down a couple points. She's going to try to create some aggression. I thought she was going to play a corner guard, but maybe the rock is actually heavy, so this is a good audible. She's going to go and try to freeze on to the back rock, which is an excellent call for an audible for sure.
Come up just a little bit short there on the plan B, but definitely if your first one isn't going to go the way that you want, come up with your plan B, and they came up just a little bit shy on that one. As we take a look at Alexis Chason, she's out of Bedford and attends Halifax West High School and has 5 years experience, is 15 years of age. Of course, her teammate Carrie Wellman attends Parkview Educational Center, 11 years in the sport and 16 years of age. So you look at those age here, the thing is what's really impressive is, 15 and 16-year-olds here on the junior circuit playing with some 19 and 20-year-olds. I'm telling you, this
and they're hanging in there.
That Notting team is just, they're just playing awesome curling. It's just, basically they just didn't come for the party. They came to be a participant and, make lives miserable there for the remaining 5 teams here in the championships.
Yep. And it's good for them because, it just builds for, ongoing success. It gives them their confidence and knowing that they can play at this level. And if you keep playing at the higher level and keep playing in that environment, of course you're going to get better. And they're obviously showing it here that we can play with the bigger teams.
And the thing is, you'll never find like a more relaxed team. It's like you get a chance to be here at the championships. You get a chance to see the way that the teams act, and sometimes, of course, their coach is Scott Notting, and he's. I don't think I've ever seen him stop smiling.
I know Scott quite well, actually, and I've known him, over the years, just because the whole junior thing. He has an older daughter as well that that I know and my son knows, and Scott's a great guy, loves to laugh, and that's the thing about Scott. I know he'd keep these girls loose.
Well, the thing is, you can't really play, too tight. You got to be, loosey-goosey, and, sometimes, teams in sport, it doesn't matter whether you're talking curling, hockey, any type of sport. If your coach is loose, you're going to be loose. If your coach is tight, you're going to be tight. Yep. So, it's good to have that sort of, as I say, character sort of type coach.
Yep. And, that's one thing that I try to preach, With the junior level, I find that, mental preparation is very, very key in success. And that's something I try to work in with my boys, that I try to keep things as positive as possible. And it's okay, if you make a mistake, we all make them. And, we'll just, that's what practice is for. You work on your stuff you need to work for and practice. But keeping things relaxed, I think, is the recipe to building the best success you possibly can for your team. And I think that's exactly what you have said is that's what Scott brings as a coach for sure.
Here is Caitlin Notting out of Bridgewater, age 15, attends Parkview Educational Center. What were you doing at the age of 4?
I don't have a memory of that. That's going too far back.
Were you curling at the age of 4?
Don't think so. Do you know someone that's been curling at the age of 4?
Well, that's funny. You should ask. Caitlin Notting says she's been doing it 11 years and is the age of 15. So,
wow.
I don't need the calculator to say 15 minus 11 equals 4. So
if it goes a little higher than that, I might need one. But no, that's pretty. That's pretty good. 11 years.
Well, maybe we should loosen up our sneakers here or shoes there if we need to, get into heavy sort of type numbers and start counting with our toes.
Yeah.
So if people here in the close to our watching areas have a little bit of a odor going on, you'll know why. That's what's so fun about this, is like interactive here. I can put my hand on the back of Brian Rafe, who is, of course, the coach of Isabel Ladder-Sor right now, and, of course, is the ice maker here. Hello, Brian. That's what's so great about calling these sports is you just being interactive with the fans.
It's actually a small community. Yes, there's a lot of teams and whatnot, but it really is a small community, and everybody, the Carolyn community is pretty tight, and you get to know a lot of people, and that's one of the things that really drew me into the sport is the people. You just, you meet a lot of good people out there, and everybody's always out there to, have a good time, have a few laughs, and, even against the opposition. I mean, at the end of the day, we do want, success for our kids and whatnot, but at the end of the day, hey, we'll sit down, we'll, have a few laughs together, and that's what it's all about, friendships and just enjoying the sport.
And they're going hard here, this team nodding here, trying to drag it towards the button, and it will just sail just a little short, but or just a little bit too much towards the.
Well, that was important, though. They did want to make sure that they did set two, and they're playing very well. This is the first time that I've seen them this year, actually, and I'm very impressed.
As you say, haven't had a chance to see all the teams so far, just in the day two of this, but definitely, they have, opened up a lot of eyes here over the first couple of days, and I'm not really to the point of saying I'm surprised, but they have played very well. Maybe been the most consistent team so far to this point in the championship so far.
But when you look at the field, actually, you got 6 teams, and you look at I know them all. I mean, like you say, my son's pretty heavy into the juniors, so I've known all these teams for years, and the common factor is, again, I think I said this last night, that they all work hard, they all practice, and they're all getting the results of having success and winning games and being competitive and beating teams that are 3 and 4 years older than you. And it's not luck. It's just the fact of hard work and learning the game and strategy and all that and putting it all together. So good on them.
Skip rocks here in 4. See, this is the first time, like in all the other, that of course Bell 5 TV1 has been, we have not been really at ice level. And be here near the coach's box where they get a chance to watch everything, you just pick up on some things. And you said about it being a social sport, here they are holding the door and having silly conversation before into the seriousness there. So we're in the Skip Rocks. This is, of course, Kaylee Nodding here out of Bridgewater, 18 years of age. Also attends Parkview Educational Center and has been doing this for 12 years.
So they would have liked to would have liked to stick there, have the sit the 2 rocks, put the force in play.
You can see the communication there as they were just, as Jones was actually saying what you can see. Go ahead, sir.
No, I was just saying I like this call because Caitlin, she's going to have to probably draw on her last rock, so she might as well throw a draw here, know what the draw weight's going to be. It is a great opportunity to set up the deuce. So, I definitely like this call. Go around the corner. You're going to get a feel for the draw weight because and you might have to throw it on your last one. So good call.
Reason why I was talking about like the coaches and the timeout, because they had a timeout here on sheet B. 2-2 between Ladder-Sor and Moore. Looking at sheet E, it's 2-1 now. As
hard to believe it's only 2-1 and saw the mess that was over there.
Yeah, Daly
10 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. Daly on the board, all that rocks, and just came away with a single point. 2-1 Carson over Daly. Boy, that was really bad. Carson Daly. guy on MTV. I think he hosts The Voice.
Okay.
That's not how I signed that one up.
So that was a miss by Caitlin Jones. She would have liked to have been drawn around that rock. Now the Notting team are going to have to make a decision here. What do they want to do? Do they want to sit 2 rocks? How are they going to do that so that they can create a force here?
Team from Bridgewater giving, of course, the veteran team and the past champions with a couple of new members, giving them all they could handle here so far in the 4th. And Notting is up by 2. Jones has the hammer here. Still a lot of discussion about the shot that they're going to make here, Anthony.
I think what they're trying to do is they're going to try a double and try to sit a couple.
Not afraid to throw the big weight. Here is Kaylee Notting. Her last without hammer here at 4. To it. Just nose and get a little bit of a roll.
So I don't know how open that one out there off to the wing is. Oh, it's not very open for sure.
Yeah.
That'd be a very tough shot to hit and stick with, so she might be forced to draw. Take her.
Definitely taking the time and, you're basically talking to her teammates here, trying to figure out the best case scenario. And as you said, looks like it will be just a plain draw here for the single here in 4.
Yeah, that's an almost impossible shot. Well, I won't say it's impossible, but that's a really tough shot to stick. You'd have to play maybe hack weight, might get it pushed out far enough, but these are really these rocks. They're the action off them once you strike them. They're very active, so if you don't hit it flush, it will roll. And so I think this is probably your for sure.
Best option and the safe shot too, because
yes.
The final stone here in number 4 for Caitlin Jones of the Halifax Curling Club. Looking here to get her single and get on the scoreboard. Nice little camera work there and production work there by Sean Senegal. Basically about as close to the action as you could possibly get as they are trying to get it there to the 4-foot area right on to get the single point here at end number 4. So Notting will have the hammer in end number 5. Take a quick look to see if there's anything changed on the scoreboards here of the other 2 sheets. Pretty well same as is, but looks like, of course, that's going to change here as there was just points scored here on sheet B. We'll get that information passed along as soon as it goes up on the board. So 2-1 where we stand right now here in the 5th, Notting with the yellow-handled stones.
That was a nice draw by Caitlin. Her first shot was, again, she played the draw on the first shot. Didn't quite have the right weight for it, but no, what she had to throw on her second draw, she had no problem at all putting that shot right on the lid. So well planned out.
So if you're just joining us here on a Thursday from Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia, here at the Lakeshore Curling Club, this is the 2017 Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships on Bell 5 TV1, presented by AMJ Campbell. Alongside Anthony Purcell, my name is Dan Hobson. Glad you can join us. And our producer is Sean Senegal. Bell 5 TV1 crews here for the championships. Day number 2, draw number 3.
No surprise, the Jones team, Caitlin Jones, has called the guard so that she can generate some offense. They are going to have to kind of push things a little bit. They are down 1 point, so the way to create this offense would be to put up the center guard and and try to get some action around that 4-foot area and try to get a steal and play.
Moore got a single point there, as we were just talking about seconds ago. They put it up on the board, 3-2. Callie Moore over Isabel Ladouceur on sheet B. And it's still 2-1. Carson over Daly there on sheet E. And they do the come around, and it'll see about half a rock, but might be just a biter there in the top 12. Can't see it there from the shot right there, but definitely within close to being a biter.
So Lindsay's going to try to tuck one around here and try to get use of that first guard that she put up, and if she can suck one in, it will definitely create the offense that they're looking for.
That
Looks
guard
light, though.
Coming over. Looked like it was going to come over, but it still got by. But you said it is light. And actually roll rub and then go into the 12. And you look at that shot, and the yellow, see a little bit of white ice separating. So one blue stone, only little blue stone in the house belonging to Jones, top 12.
So a good shot here would be if you could able to hit and just kind of sit right in front of that control zone. The control zone is really right around the center area of the rings, and so if someone tucks something around your rock, you're able to run yours in, and so that's exactly that's a good shot.
Shot made there by Carrie Wellman.
So Caitlin's going to probably try to do the same thing. That rock is just it's a really good rock. It's in good position to be used by the nodding team. So Caitlin will try to rock and try to take that area of the control zone again.
Carly Burgess here in 5. Past the guard.
Another nice shot. Both teams are playing well.
Yeah, there's not much in terms of errors, and had maybe some a little bit difficulties there in N1, but I can't remember too many missed shots here. They're both teams are just pretty well know there's no room for error, and they're playing probably the best curling. This has been the best one in terms of in the women's side of things, shot for shot, being both teams being on, as you mentioned.
Actually, what you'll find typically in some of these lower scoring games, a lot of the time that's indicative of actually teams playing, pretty equal and really hard to score deuces or 2 or 3 in an end, because both teams are making their shots. So the fact that it's 2-1 doesn't really mean that they haven't tried to do aggression. It's just the fact that both teams are making shots.
Jason, Wellman, and nodding here. Looks like they will bump that blue.
So this is an opportunity for Caitlin to come around this.
It's a good shot there.
Around the guards, bury one, and really put some some pressure on the nodding team. So
as a coach, as you look at this situation, is it starting to get maybe a little bit cluttered there right along the scoring area right now?
Well, actually, for Jones, this is a great situation. For the nodding team, it's the rocks aren't perfectly around the center, so you do have a little bit of the button in the 4-foot to draw to. So, but yeah, certainly if you're in Nodding's situation, you'd want to probably have a little bit more cleaner than this. But for Jones, definitely this is kind of the stuff what you want. You want a little bit of junk in play.
Got a little bit of luck as she rolled off the yellow and in. Once again, chase on here in the 5th. And this one looks like it's all on its own. Comes through that port, removes the blue. The shooter will.
That's a good shot.
Stick around. Yeah.
It forces Caitlin Jones' team to go and make a play on that rather than just go and draw one behind the guards. So that's a very good shot. It's a long roll. The longer the roll, obviously, the harder the shot.
They tell that she's got her weight on because like the front end never had to lay a brush to it at all. As we watch Kristen Clark. And the Burgess is quickly on that. It says leaves her hand. And you could hear going hard, and they're saying hard, and they'll hold it there and keep the line and remove the yellow stone and lie one. Caitlin Jones foursome.
So Kaylee nodding, she'll call the hit and roll here, and try to do the same thing that Caitlin tried to do.
Thing is that they've pretty well been like scouting this game and have seen the path and have seen the weight, so similar shots going back and forth between the teams here. Caitlin nodding. She's gonna follow it down, get a nose hit, hope to stick, and actually will lose the shooter.
So that was pretty important for her to stick there. So now what this does gives Caitlin Jones' team go around that guard there and around the Blues and really try to force the play. So
they're going hard, and now they've sort of been called off there by the skipper there. And now it's back on, and you can see that it's starting to bite in and starting to come over. Will that blue one come into play? Oh, they're going to get by it. And they're into the 8-foot area.
it's a really good shot. So maybe a little bit deeper would have been a little bit better, but they had very good line on that shot. So very difficult shot now. Almost, almost impossible, I would say, for her to remove that and hold her shooter, but we'll see.
Notting has the hammer here in end number 5. Force on once again. Caitlin Notting. And you could hear the Nottings. They're yelling hard as that blue guard's coming up. They just get by it. Can they get by that second blue? No, they're going to wreck out front and push one of the Blues in. So Jones now lying 2. And you could sort of sense the panic once you can hear that really intense, trying to go hard to hold the line, and so ended up jamming some things in the front. Sorry, Anthony.
No,
and
just
pushing
saying,
Blues in.
Yeah. So what's tough right now for the Notting team is the fact that this 4-foot area, which we call the control zone, really cluttered. And if Caitlin Jones can put a really good shot here, they could really put themselves in a very good situation to steal on this one. So as you asked me before earlier in the end, what would I feel as a coach? Well, obviously if I was the Notting team, it's not a very good for them. So they may have to, on their next one, maybe play a peel or run something in to kind of open things up so that the Notting team have a shot on their last one.
Skip rocks here in the 5th. Both Carly and Lindsay here going hard, and they will guard those 2 blue right now and sit right on the center line there to block things off here for Kaylee Notting. Both teams, of course, we talked about the rules here, 38 minutes here for thinking time, and both teams still have both of their timeouts. You see, this is a little bit of a pressure cooker here, and Notting's there talking to the front end, of course, of Wellman and Chase on here trying to get their 2 cents here on this shot. And
I think you have to play this. I think you have to open things up best you can, and hopefully there's, things are a little bit more open for you on your last rock, that you do have an opportunity that you to score.
So you're going to see some big-time weight being thrown, folks, here. We're going to skip rocks, as I mentioned, in number 5 here, the first of 2 for Notting. Up 2-1. Scored 1 in the second, stole 1 in the third. And Jones, with Harrer, had to take a single in 4. 2-1. They're going to get rid of that blue guard. The shooter will go. So they'll open things up just a little bit there as they remove that slightly long guard. So Jones and Clark, they'll talk it over. Why not just put another guard and just put it up there and block it even here, because you know that she's only got 1 rock left. Does Notting. Why not block what you got?
I think they might be trying to just kind of tap this up a little bit, just to kind of, I guess, push that one that's closer to the 4-foot, get them separated from the one that's actually there, and sit 3. So see how this works out for them.
Last rock for Jones here without Herron in 5. Going to really rely here on the front end of Carly and Lindsay Burgess here. Dragging it as far as they can here. Will they give a little touch to the blue ones? Yes, they do. And sitting 3.
That worked out really well, actually. I don't think they can remove all 3 rocks. You now have a couple of rocks that are actually on the 8-foot and 1 close to the 4-foot. So,
and really the only shot they have is that yellow one to try to push it in or try to get it in for their single. It's pretty well the only shot they got. Because I'm not sure if there's enough curl to get in around with all the shrapnel out front.
No. So this is essentially all they have. Now this is a critical shot. If she doesn't make this, she could give up a 3-ender, which is puts Team Jones in control of the game. But if she can make this shot, she's 2 up, going into the 5th end break and looking pretty good.
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts. This is the big shot here in this game so far. Seconds away, of course, from the 5th end break time. The final stone for Kaylee Notting out of the Bridgewater Curling Club has to raise her yellow in to get a single point. Here it in 5. And not a brush to it so far.
Yep. Looks like he was just overthrown. It was just heavy.
And the miss. And the steal of 3 for Jones here in the 5th. So with that, after being up for a good portion of this game for the first 4 ends, being up 2-1, a steal of 3, and it's 4-2 Jones over Notting after 5 ends of play. And boy, that's definitely not how you really want to go into the 5th end break if you're the Kaylee Notting foursome.
Yeah, but you got to have a short memory in this sport, and you can't dwell on things. You just have to forget it and put a good end together. You score a deuce, you're back in it. It's all even Steven at 4-4 if they can get a deuce for the Notting team, and just keep battling.
Okay, so we're going to step out here for about 5 minutes with end number 6 here between Jones and Notting. And right now, Jones up 4-2. You're watching Bell 5 TV 1. Okay, we're moments away here from the end number 6 from getting underway. My name is Dan Hobson. Also joining me here is Anthony Purcell here. It is Bell 5 TV1's coverage of the 2017 AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships here on Bell 5 TV1. If you just tuned in, it was a tight contest going into the 4th. There was blanks there in end number 1. Notting had the hammer, and then Notting was forced to take one, and end number 2 go up 1-0. And then in end number 3, Jones had and Notting stole one. So it was 2-1. So it was 2-0, and then Jones was forced to a single in end number 4, 2-1. And then, of course, one of the things that could be a turning point in the way this one goes the rest of the way, a steal Jones there in end number 5 as they were trying to raise the yellow stone in, looking at 3 blue stones belonging to Jones, and they came up short, unable to knock the yellow in. So a steal 3 as we are underway here in end number 6, Notting having the hammer. Look at it, if you're probably, coaching staff here talking to them to say, okay, so you gave up a 3 spot in the 5th in. Of course, Scott Notting here. Not going to paraphrase because, well, he's the coach and I'm just the broadcaster. But anyway, I'm sure that Notting said something to the point of it's no big deal, sort of like a Katy Perry impression, no big deal. Gave up 3. Only being down by 2, free guard zone. Still anybody's game, 4-2 as we were into the 6th. And for Caitlin Jones, probably was, maybe this is the thing that may turn this, of course, game around for them, is that basically the teams were playing pretty well, good solid shots, really nothing much in the pairs until that last shot there by Kaylee Notting in the 5th. So really not much room for error, and of course you make an error against this tight Jones team, it can basically, you're going to basically pay the piper, and that's what happened here for Notting. So we're here in the 6th. We have a 4-2 game. Lindsay Burgess here, the lead for the Caitlin Jones foursome at the Halifax Curling Club. Going to try to get a piece of this yellow. Do they have something? No, will flash towards the back and out. So as you see, the yellow stone belonging to Notting completely buried there by the Jones guard. Of course, there's the 4 rock free guard zone. But, of course, another option here, too, is that you can also guards, too. Just can't remove the opposition. So, as we take a look here at Carrie Wellman. Been talking to the tournament organizers here, and they want to pass along that the live stats, the scoring board is back up. It sort of went down in the early stages of our games here tonight, but I've been informed that it is back up and ready for business. Speaking of business, we'll go take a look and see what's going on in the other sheets. And sheet B still says 3-2 Callie Moore over Isabel Ladouceur here. Of course, Moore got 2 in the 1st and 1 in the 4th. Ladouceur 2 in the 2nd, and they blanked the 5th, so it is 3-2 there. Moore over Ladouceur. And on sheet E, that one's a tight one there, 2-2. Might be playing the 5th there. And that's Calissa Daly and Julie Carson. 2-2, that one is. And looks like we have our first little timeout here. Of course, both teams are pretty quiet, so of course you get a chance in a second to see the coaches of the respective teams. Scott Notting there in the gray jacket, and of course Atherton there with the blue and black. Just as soon as they had finished talking to their team, like about 2 or 3 minutes later, they're back out there talking again. So, looking at 2 yellow stones right now for Notting, and you talked about it before the break. Just put it out of your mind. And to be the case now, just shrug it off and shake it off.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's that's what the good teams do, and you know, they have short memories, and that's what you have to do. It's funny. My son's team, we were in the A final here this afternoon, and you know, we've been playing well all season, and we ran into a hot Matthew Manuel team, and you know, they showed us why they're the 3-time defending champions. But you know what? You got to have a short memory. If we're fortunate enough to get back into the B final, you know, we will probably play. I think it's either Abraham or Manuel. Again, you just got to put that to rest and say, hey, you know what? The next time we come around, we're going to try to be better and just have that short memory. And if you can have the short memory, you certainly will forget some of the things that frustrated you the day before and play better.
Said about, of course, removing your own guards, and it came to play that time as Team Jones saw that blue-handled stone that was more of a nemesis to them, so they just got rid of it now, and so the house is wide open. 2 yellow stones belonging to Notting. Definitely a good bounce back there for Notting here. Has a little bit of pressure here on Jones.
Those rocks are in really good position. They might be better off, actually. I thought she called to bring this rock in the house, but actually I think it might be better if they actually put maybe a center guard up there, because then it doesn't allow them to make a double on those 2 rocks that are there now. But I think it's just a bit early to start bringing rocks in the rings, because it's you start grouping the rocks and it won't take long for Team Jones to get rid of them.
This sheet E is brought to you by the number 1, as Julie Carson scored 1 in the first, second, and for Calissa Daly, she's gotten 3 straight 1s right across the board, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, as they say. Brought to you by the number 1. 3-2 is the score, as Calissa Daly has her first lead here going into the 5th in break over there in sheet E. Pretty tight defensive matches, pretty well all across here, the Lakeshore Curling Club there, Anthony.
Yeah, it's good to see. Actually, all the games are tight, and it's given us fans here to a little bit more interest to follow along. So it's great to competitive games going on out there. Actually, look at sheet E. It looks like Calissa Daly's team has come back, so they're up 3-2 now.
Yeah, they were down by 2 and have gotten 3 straight 1s right across. As I said, you look at the scoreboard here and you see the 1s just.
Yep.
So far, they've kept the crooked numbers off the board there on sheet E. Alexis chase on here. Notting, of course, would love to get her deuce here in the 6th and tie this up. And now she'll have a chance to sit 3s. This will roll to the top 4. Might have heard our microphones. My headset's right close here to the coaching box here. Brian Rayfuse, the co-chair for Team Isabel Ladouceur. You might have heard her call timeout, so that is on the sheet that is next to us. As we take a look at the veteran Kristen Clark. And the mics that you hear right now are, of course, of the timeout being heard on our sheet right next to us. As I said, in that one, it's 3-2 right now for Moore over Ladouceur here as they play in the 6th. 4-2 here on our feature presentation here between Notting and Jones here in Bell 5 TV 1. You could hear them spill those 2 top yellows and then stick around there to be second shot. Good shot making there by the Jones rink once again.
And that's what I was kind of reverting to, I guess, a little bit earlier, is the fact that if you start grouping rocks a little bit too early, it does give an opportunity for the other team to start making doubles and sometimes even triples. So all of a sudden, if she doesn't hit and stick here, you're going to basically see an open house, just an exchange of rocks here. And Caitlin at this point would be very happy with that.
So at one point they were lying 3. Now they'll try to nose hit to stick to keep it, to get it to lie 2 here. As we take a look at Caitlin nodding here. We're into third rocks here in the 6 as we're moving right along. On a Thursday night here from beautiful Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia, and the Lakeshore Curling Club. It's a piece of it. Is it going to be enough to remove it? No, it's going to push towards the spill.
That extra spin, when it had that little gear effect going, it actually, she kept spinning like a football, and it just went further and spun out of the ring. So now you have an open house, and at one point we had Notting with 3 rocks in the house, and now you're going to end up with teams with 1 lonely rock. So sometimes it's knowing when to come into the rings, and really you just kind of want to put some guards up there. Let them just peel your guards away and be defensive, and then bring that rock in a little later in the end. Grouping the rocks and making doubles a lot easier.
Gets a little bit of a roll there to the back 12. It's amazing. Like you just it's not even like a complete miss. It's like maybe like a half shot miss, and all of a sudden these teams just capitalize on it. That's how competitive this is. And of course, I don't have to tell you that. You know that, being a coach of the Weagle foursome, you know it. That's when a lot of weight being thrown here.
It's funny. It's you go into some of these games and you just know what you're up against. You know that, to score a deuce. You're playing some teams. It's going to be hard to get those deuces, and when you get one, you got to try to make sure that they don't get one back on you. So yeah, it's certainly against the some of these good teams. It's definitely hard to get those crooked numbers.
Well, it looked good early here for Notting, but now, as you see, it's pretty well an empty house, a bachelor's apartment on a Saturday night in the city. That's what it looks like right now.
It's definitely pretty lonely.
Lonely on the inside. He's ready to skip rocks here at 6. Both birds just looked up there momentarily there. Now they've got their heads down there trying to scrub it there. Get it there, ladies. It's pretty well what the skipper says. They'll get it to the top 12 right along the center line to lie 1. A lot of rocks in play, not a lot of options here for Notting here. Best, definitely the blank is what's on her mind here, and carry it over into 7. But you definitely know that the next shot here for Jones is pretty well going to probably put it in a little bit of a different path here for Notting. Make the blank a little more difficult. So far the teams here. Of course, Notting right now 19 minutes and 23 seconds. Seems to be okay in terms of time, and Jones as well, 21:34. They'll get the nose hit of the blue stone, and the yellow will bite there, the 12-foot area. Jones and Clark, brief discussion, and the skip tells Clark, this is where I want the broom, and now we'll head up the ice here, get ready for a shot here in the 6. Of course, the steals have been pretty well one of the stories here so far at the junior championships. One of my games, there was actually 2 5 points, and that was pretty well the difference maker in that game. So, as I said, the aggressive play just continues on here. The championships, the stellar play from pretty well every team, from even the 8 in the men's and the 6 here, the ladies here. They'll move the blue and push the towards the back 12.
Yeah, it's like I say, in both the ladies and the men's, it's definitely a pretty balanced pool of teams. Yeah, you got Matthew Manuel and ourselves. We've had a here in Abraham as well. There's another really strong men's team. But at any given time, I mean, you get the right the other teammate, even the other team that might be like a 6th, 7th, 8th seed. If they're on and you're not on, certainly they can beat you. It's definitely a little bit of parity for sure. And when those other so-called lower seeds are making shots, you better be prepared to make them too. So.
Well, this end has had a lot more ups and downs than a lie detector test here. It looked like good chance to score 2, and then it looked like the blank was on, and now here it is, final stone here in number 6. Notting looking at removing that the blue stone to sit 2 and tie this at 4. But she's only going to get a piece of that, and we'll get a single. And instead of tying it, we'll go 4-3.
Too bad, because she threw that rock really well. The thing is that, and they'll learn this as they get a little bit more experienced. They need to throw a lower weight shot. There was no need to throw it that heavy. If they would have even just threw like a board weight, maybe like a type weight shot, if you don't hit it quite flush, you're not going to roll out. So that was I would consider it to be almost like an up regular weight. And unfortunately, she didn't throw the rock bad, but because she didn't hit it quite square, she rolled out. And that was a great opportunity to score 2.
Updating sheet B. Callie Moore got a single point in 6, so it's 4-2 as they play into the 7th over Isabel Ladouceur out of the Lakeshore Curling Club. Callie Moore at a CFB Curling Club in Halifax, number 2 ranked in the Nova Scotia Junior Curling Provincial Rankings. Still 3-2 there as Calissa Daly was down by 2, but has scored 3 straight single points in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Of course, things may change as they're getting close to the end there of end number 6, so if we get any more updates, we'll pass on that. Of course, Calissa Daly out of the Halifax Curling Club, ranked number 4th in the Nova Scotia Junior Curling Provincial Standings, against Team Carson there out of Windsor Curling Club, came in at number 3, so tight contest here tonight. As we get back to end number 7 here between Caitlin Jones out of the Halifax Curling Club and Kaylee Notting of the Bridgewater Curling Club here at the 2017 AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Junior Curling Provincial Championships.
Now she, the Notting lead, she put the guard just over the hog line. Ideally, you'd want that a little deeper, but essentially it's done its job. You want to create a little bit of offense, and it is in the free guard zone. Yes, you'd like to have it a little deeper than that, but at least there is a guard in play, and might be an opportunity to generate a little bit of offense here. So see how that plays out.
Remind everybody that the 2018 Deloitte Tankard begins Tuesday, January 9th at 2 o'clock on the Dartmouth Curling Club. You can catch all the action here on Bell 5 TV1. The will be there. Stuart Thompson, Jamie Murphy, Brent McDougall, Kendall Thompson, Mark Dacey, Chet Stevens, Greg Power, and Mike Fleming, all in contention to try to punch their ticket towards the Brier. And we'll have the opening rock to the closing ceremonies there from Dartmouth. First time that I'll be there in Dartmouth, and I think the last time that the championships were held in Dartmouth, I believe, was 2013, if memory serves me well.
It's a pretty good memory.
Well, it's actually kind of like a bad memory because I know that's John Siteman told me earlier in a tweet about it and about a day ago, so I still can't really remember if it's 2013. I believe it is, but as I said, the first thing that everybody knows of Bovey is the memory's bad. There'll be some times that I won't even know my own name. That's how bad the memory is. That's no joke, folks. Actually, it is, but sometimes it
feels that way.
Oh, very much. Last year was, speaking on the topic of John Siteman, it was one of those times that we were just reassuring everybody, for those that just tuned in, and I said my name was John Siteman and he was Dan Hobson, and it's like everybody just blew up laughing. It's like, you don't even know who you are? We got a good chuckle over it. So I'm going to stop to arrest there at the 8-foot area. Shot stone belonging to Notting. So let's put your coaching hat on back here for a second. I know you try to, when you're not coaching, to do that, and it's nice of you to join us here in the broadcast, but you're in the situation, and pretty well when you're at practices, you see a situation like this and you see the rocks where they are, and also maybe in terms of trying to get some knowledge to try to claw yourself back to be down by one in the situation, and that is a juggernaut of a team that you're looking right across at. What do you got to figure out to get some offense going, or what do you really got to say to the troops to say? What would you be saying, basically?
What I'd be saying is that we got to have, obviously, the one guard that they do have in the free guard zone, and so that at least you have a manner of being able to hide something to create some offense. You're only down 1 point, so it's not time to panic. Actually, if they could actually get them to force them at this point and only give up a single, that's that bad of a situation, because then if you go and get a deuce in the next end, you're tied after 8 ends, and it's definitely a winnable game. You do want to, at this point, you do want to generate offense, but you don't want to do it in the fact that you're going to compromise yourself at the big end. So that's basically, you want to play aggressive, but you don't want to do it so that you basically shoot yourself in the foot. So you can't box yourself in a corner, but yeah, you want to definitely go after it for sure.
Jones with a little bit of pressure, sitting right towards the back here. And Clark and Burgess, and now Jones will get in on and relieve Clark and try to take it the rest of the way to sit right there in the 12-foot area to lie 3.
This shot actually helps out Notting quite a bit. They could come down here and actually go into one of the back rocks, and then that basically will out-count all the rocks that are in the host now with no way of getting them out. So ideally, Carly would have liked to have that a lot deeper than what it was. Well, not a lot deeper, but even if it was top 8, maybe biting the 4-foot would have been ideal. But now this might be Team Notting off the hook here and actually put him in that force situation.
So maybe the Jones team might have gotten the Notting team a get-out-of-jail-free card, but we'll have to wait and see as a throw on its way here from Caitlin Notting. Out of the break by the guard. By a good bunch and starting to bite in. And
I think she just threw that one light.
Right. Well, you mentioned earlier about how they throw the big up weight. They took something off and might have cost them there. There you see 3 stones belonging to Jones. And possibly could put another one in the rings here to lie 4. And it's in the hand of Christian Clark, the Dalhousie student. Both the Burgess ladies there getting right on it. The front end of Burgess and Burgess, and they drag it July 4.
So right now, it's not obviously a very good situation. I think you're to the point now. I think you got to commit yourself to try to freeze something in there, either to the top one and the top 8, or maybe even if you had to come back to the back ones, eliminating some rocks.
And our first time out there, Anthony.
And I figure that's what the call will be, because they're in a position now where they're going to have to freeze to something.
Actually, this is the second timeout. They had a timeout in the 6th. So both teams still have one left. And coming into the picture there is Andrew Atherton. And really, this is a good timeout, because the thing is, really, to be honest, they're sitting 4, and this game right now.
Well, the thing is, right now, with them sitting 4, you have, I think each team has 3 rocks left. So you're to the point now where you're not going to get rid of 4 rocks the way that it's lined up there now. So now I think you have to change gears. You have to get in there, freeze to some rocks, the other ones that are counting, and try to make it the best you can out of the situation that's there.
Of course, fans of Kaylee nodding, that's the mess that she has to look at. 4 blue handle stones belonging to Jones.
It's a tough one. You could draw, play the intern draw and draw to the back ones and eliminate 3 of the 4 rocks. You could come down, you could kind of corner freeze or lock one on to the ones that just barely touching the top of the 4-foot, and then you eliminate those other rocks. So it'll be interesting what they call. Score kind of dictates probably freezing to the one on the top of the 4-foot. You want to try to see if there's any way of getting another one in there.
Updating sheet E, and it's been a night of 1s there, and another 1 in 6 there. This time here for Julie Carson, so it's 3-3 there on sheet E. Julie Carson and Calista Daly. Carson, of course, the Windsor Curling Club, and Daly out of the Halifax Curling Club. 3-3.
Now, saying that, you have to get the rocks in there, but I wonder, we're getting into the to the 7th end, and the ice conditions, they might be slowing just a little bit, and we're starting to see some light rocks. And I don't know if it's just that it's changed just a little bit, and maybe they haven't picked up on it, or if they're just not throwing the right weight.
Well, this is a new situation here for the team, because they have had pretty well easy victories, like a 10-4 win over Calista Daly there to start things off. Have had, of course, Callie Moore was a high-scoring 11-9 one there this afternoon, but it's into territory here.
You're playing a world-class team right now. I mean, you've got two of the members that won a world championship. You've got experienced skip in Caitlin Jones, who's done a lot actually in the west part of the country, and slouch herself. So if you don't make enough shots, eventually you are going to pay. I'm not saying that Notting haven't made a lot of shots, because they have. They played very, very well. But this is the thing that you have to avoid, and you get experience. But giving up these big ends are just killers. And so she'll try to make something good here and get out of this situation. So we'll see what Caitlin can do here. I guess it's Kaylee nodding.
Skip rocks here in 7th. Kaylee. And not a brush laid to it here by Wellman and Chase on.
And I think this shot here is a result of seeing her teammates throw their rocks very, very, they were light, and I think she's just overcompensated for that. Unfortunately, she'll probably have to throw a draw on her last one, but unfortunately for that, there probably may not be much to draw to, but
yeah, you can see it's pretty busy up in front of the house there. Really, the scoring path really shut down. And a chance to even shut it down more. Definitely taking her time here to do the pre-shot routine. Here is Caitlin. Looking at the happy rings right now for her. Sitting 4. Chance here to sit 5 and really put a little bit of pressure here on this Bridgewater Curling Club team. Burgess letting off. Even if they're short, that's okay. Now starting to dig in to come in, and they're dragging it and pushing it as hard as they can. And there it is, top 12. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
this is like a Texas Hold'em hand right now. You basically, you're all in. You got to come around that guard. Well, actually, it's not a guard, but you're going to have to come around that she just put on top 12, and just try to bury as much as you possibly can with it.
The noddings there, just looking at it, and just head scratcher, and the time 15:26 and counting there for them. But pretty well, this is, I said it earlier, this could be your game right here.
The call is pretty easy. It's a draw, but which feel like you can actually make that shot.
Yeah, that's and like this is a team shot if there ever was one, because you just saw the picture there of what's in front of the house, and it's a good shot from the back there, and you see what's there in front there. Really hard there to come in there for a close sum off. And knowing that Jones still has one to come, of course she has the last rock here at 7.
This is probably the better way to come, in my opinion, just because the one you're going around is, yeah, it is wider, but it's a little bit longer, so that if you do make a really good shot, it's going to be definitely a lot harder to get rid of. If you come around the one that's on the other side, and if you don't get it absolutely perfect, you're going to have a good opportunity to make a short run back to get a mitt full. So, but either one is not wrong. It's you're in trouble, and you just got to make a good shot here.
They've been a pretty well relaxed team, loosey-goosey, since these championships started yesterday, but they are in a little bit of a tight one here. Facing 5, and they need to get this there to try to limit some points here. And it ain't digging in.
This will be an open draw for 6.
Ouch.
So obviously the game is, well, being realistic, the game is getting out of hand. But if your team nodding, you get back and say, hey, you know what? We proved a lot to ourselves today. We made a lot of good shots. We made Jones' team I'd say for 4 of the 5 ends. They made them work for every point that they had. There was no freebies. But unfortunately, there was just a couple of bad ends. And as you get more experienced, they'll learn that to recognize more of situations that aren't working out, and try to do a little bit more damage control a little bit earlier. But I would say it's been they should be pretty proud of the effort. they put in. And the game, of course, isn't over, but it's going to be hard to come back from a 5 or 6 ender here.
Well, the Notting team took down Calissa Daly yesterday. And, of course, Daly came in ranked number 4 in the ranking. And then took on Callie Moore, and that was a run and gun 20 points, 11-9 victory. So she's, definitely has, basically opened the eyes of everybody around here. But all of a sudden, when you face that number 1 team ranked in the Nova Scotia junior curling standings, it might have been just a little bit of a hard pill to swallow as we're into the final stone here in number 7, Jones. With a whole lot of rocks in the house here, trying to add one more to it. The Burgess ladies scrubbing here. They're going to actually raise one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There it is. 10-3 as a 6-pack's going on the board.
So that's a win for Team Caitlin Jones.
And handshakes, as you see right now. 10-3 to final, and boy, after seeing things that were so tight there for the first 4 ends, and then all of a sudden the 5th, 6th, and 7th, the defending champions showing why, basically we were defending champs till somebody beat us, and of course steal 3 in the 5th, and of course the big score of 6 to go right along there at end number 7. So, boy, I tell you, you make 1 or 2 mistakes, it's costly at this level there.
Yeah, but it's not all lost for Team Notting. I think again, I have a soft spot for some of these teams that are young like this, and they're putting in the effort and putting themselves out there to play the top notch teams that are they're a lot older than these kids are, and they should be with the way they played tonight and just keep grinding and get a couple more wins later on in the tournament, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Anthony Purcell, thank you very much for joining us here, and of course I wish you and your team the best of luck the rest of the way here at the championships.
We're going to do our best, and we'll see what happens. That's all you can do. Thanks a lot, Dan. It was good working with you. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, final score once again, Jones 10, Notting 3. So for my producer, Sean Senertal, and the entire Bell 5 TV 1 team, we're going to wrap things up, and we say so long. You've been watching the 2017 AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships here on Bell 5 TV 1.